Tape number 1, Side B. Lesson 6. The weather.
George and Anne are students at an American university. George is American and Anne is English. They are taking a walk on the campus. They are talking about the weather. Listen to their conversation.
Okay, Dick, come on, let's hold him!
It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
Yes, I like spring. It's always fine and sunny.
Spring isn't very nice in England.
Isn't it?
No, March is windy and it rains a lot in April, but it's usually sunny in May.
What about the summer in England?
Sometimes it's fine, but we often have cold days too.
Here in America, it's always very hot in summer.
Is it humid too? I don't like humid weather.
Yes, it's very humid. But we have air conditioners at home, so it's not so bad. You don't need air conditioners in England, I suppose.
No, we don't need air conditioners in summer, but we sometimes need overcoats.
Is that right? Is it very cold in winter?
Well, it's cold, but it isn't very cold.
Does it snow?
Sometimes.
Well, it's very cold here. I always go skiing in winter.
Are you a good skier?
Yes. What about you?
I never go skiing, but I like skating. Say, what time is it?
It's almost 11 o'clock.
Oh, I have a class at 11. See you later, George.
See you later, Anne.
Now, answer these questions. Are Anne and George inside or outside?
They are outside.
Are they taking a walk or sitting down?
They're taking a walk.
Are they taking a walk on the campus?
Yes, they are.
Is it spring or summer?
It's spring.
Does George like spring?
Yes, he does.
Does it always rain in spring?
No, it doesn't.
In summer, do they use air conditioners in America?
Yes, they do.
Are air conditioners necessary in England?
No, they aren't.
In summer, do they sometimes need overcoats in England?
Yes, they do.
In England, is the winter cold or very cold?
It's cold, but not very cold.
Does Anne ever ski?
No, she doesn't.
Does she like skating?
Yes, she does.
What is spring like in America?
It's fine and sunny.
What is March like in England?
It's windy.
Are air conditioners necessary in Japan?
Yes, they are.
What does George always do in winter?
He always goes skiing.
What winter sport does Anne like?
She likes skating.
What time does Anne have a class?
She has a class at 11.
Do Anne and George say goodbye or see you later?
They say, see you later.
End of Lesson 6. Lesson 7. Tom and Andy.
Listen to the sentences about Tom and Andy. Tom and Andy are good friends, but they are very different. Tom is tall, but Andy is short. Tom is thin, but Andy is fat. Tom is married, but Andy is single. Tom has a large house, but Andy has a small house. Tom has a fast car, but Andy has a slow car. Tom has a difficult job, but Andy has an easy job. Tom likes warm weather, but Andy likes cool weather. Tom likes loud music, but Andy likes soft music. Tom likes bright colors, but Andy likes dark colors. Tom likes noisy places, but Andy likes quiet places. Tom wears expensive clothes, but Andy wears cheap clothes. Tom drinks strong coffee, but Andy drinks weak coffee. Tom takes the early train, but Andy takes the late train. Yes, Tom and Andy are very different, but Tom is an honest man, and Andy is an honest man too. Tom is a generous man, and Andy is a generous man too. Now, answer these questions. First, listen to the examples. Who is the tall man?
Tom is the tall man.
Is Andy tall too?
No, he isn't tall. He's short.
Who is the thin man?
Tom is the thin man.
Is Andy thin too?
No, he isn't thin. He's fat.
Now continue. Who is the married man?
Tom is the married man.
Is Andy married too?
No, he isn't married. He's single.
Who has a large house?
Tom has a large house.
Does Andy have a large house too?
No, he doesn't have a large house. He has a small house.
Who has a fast car?
Tom has a fast car.
Does Andy have a fast car too?
No, he doesn't have a fast car. He has a slow car.
Who drinks strong coffee?
Tom drinks strong coffee.
Does Andy drink strong coffee too?
No, he doesn't drink strong coffee. He drinks weak coffee.
Now, make sentences using pairs of contrary adjectives. For example, tall, short.
Tom is tall, but Andy is short.
Now continue. Difficult, easy.
Tom has a difficult job, but Andy has an easy job.
Warm, cool.
Tom likes warm weather, but Andy likes cool weather.
Loud, soft.
Tom likes loud music, but Andy likes soft music.
Bright, dark.
Tom likes bright colors, but Andy likes dark colors.
Noisy, quiet.
Tom likes noisy places, but Andy likes quiet places.
Expensive, cheap.
Tom wears expensive clothes, but Andy wears cheap clothes.
End of Lesson 7. Lesson 8. Weekend Activities.
Anne and Bob are talking about weekends. Listen to their conversation.
What do you usually do on weekends, Bob?
Different things. I always do my homework, of course. Then I usually help my parents. And I sometimes go for a drive.
Do you ever go to the movies?
No, I hardly ever go to the movies. What about you?
Oh, I'm a movie fan. I often go to the movies.
Do you ever watch television?
I sometimes watch the musical programs on Saturdays.
Are you ever bored on Saturday?
No, I'm never bored. I always do interesting things.
I'm sometimes bored.
That's too bad. Don't you play any games?
Yes, I usually play tennis on Sundays.
Who do you play with?
Different people. I often play with my friend Ken.
Who's Ken?
He's a foreign student at the university.
What nationality is he?
He's Japanese. He's from Hokkaido. That's a big island in the north of Japan.
I know that. He's from Sapporo, I suppose.
No, he isn't. He's from a town called Abashiri.
What?
Abashiri.
Abashiri. I don't know that place. Do you ever go to the International Club with Ken?
Yes, we often go. What about you?
I sometimes go with my friend George. It's a very colorful place.
Yes, it is. The foreign students are always interesting.
Now, answer these questions. Is Anne a movie fan?
Yes, she is.
Does she often go to the movies?
Yes, she does.
Does she sometimes watch television?
Yes, she does.
Does she usually watch the musical programs or the news programs?
She usually watches the musical programs.
Anne is never bored, is she?
No, she isn't.
Does she always do interesting things?
Yes, she does.
Does Bob usually play tennis on Sundays?
Yes, he does.
Does he often play with Ken?
Yes, he does.
Is Ken an American or a foreign student?
He's a foreign student.
What nationality is he?
He's Japanese.
Does he come from Honshu or Hokkaido?
He comes from Hokkaido.
Do Bob and Ken often go to the International Club?
Yes, they do.
Does Anne go with Bob or with George?
She goes with George.
The foreign students are always interesting, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Now, answer these questions using always, usually, often, sometimes, hardly ever, or never. Does Bob ever do his homework on weekends?
Yes, he always does his homework on weekends.
Does he ever help his parents?
Yes, he usually helps his parents.
Does he ever go for a drive?
Yes, he sometimes goes for a drive.
Does he ever go to the movies?
No, he hardly ever goes to the movies.
Does Anne ever go to the movies?
Yes, she often goes to the movies.
Does Anne ever watch the musical programs?
Yes, she sometimes watches the musical programs.
Is Anne ever bored?
No, she's never bored.
End of Lesson 8. Lesson 9. Talking about school.
Anne and Bob are talking about school. Listen to their conversation.
What are you majoring in, Bob?
I'm majoring in chemistry. What about you?
I'm majoring in sociology.
Do you like sociology? Isn't it boring?
No, it isn't boring. It's very interesting.
You don't have your books with you. Where do you keep them?
I always keep my books at home, but they're in the classroom now.
I always keep my books at school.
Do you have a locker?
Yes, I always keep them in my locker.
What about your homework? You need your books for homework, don't you?
Yes, but I always do my homework in the library. It's very noisy at home, but the library is quiet.
Who is your chemistry teacher?
Mr. Black, do you know him?
No, I don't know him. Is he a good teacher?
Yes, he's a very good teacher. His classes are always interesting.
That's good. Where are you going now?
I'm going to the International Club with Ken. Are you going there too?
No, I have a class now. Are you meeting Ken at the library or at the International Club?
I'm meeting him at the library. He's studying there now.
Ken's always studying, isn't he?
Yes, he's a good student. He's learning a lot of English.
He isn't majoring in English, is he?
No, he's majoring in economics, but English is very important for him.
Yes, I understand that. Well, goodbye, Bob. Give my regards to Ken.
Okay, Anne. See you later.
Now, answer these questions. Is Bob majoring in chemistry?
Yes, he is.
Is Anne majoring in chemistry too?
No, she isn't.
Is she majoring in sociology?
Yes, she is.
Does Anne have her books with her?
No, she doesn't.
Are her books at home now, or are they in the classroom?
They're in the classroom.
Is Bob going to class or to the International Club now?
He's going to the International Club.
Is he going there with Anne or with Ken?
He's going there with Ken.
Is Ken in the library now?
Yes, he is.
Ken's always studying, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Is he a good student or a poor student?
He's a good student.
Is he learning a lot of English?
Yes, he is.
Is he majoring in English?
No, he isn't.
Is he majoring in economics?
Yes, he is.
Is English very important for him?
Yes, it is.
Where is Anne going now?
She's going to class.
Where is Bob going now?
He's going to the International Club.
What is Bob majoring in?
He's majoring in chemistry.
What is Anne majoring in?
She's majoring in sociology.
What is Ken majoring in?
He's majoring in economics.
Where does Anne keep her books?
She keeps them at home.
Where does Bob keep his books?
He keeps them at school.
Where does Bob do his homework?
He does his homework in the library.
What is the chemistry teacher's name?
His name's Mr. Black.
What sort of teacher is he?
He's a very good teacher.
How are his classes?
His classes are very interesting.
Where is Bob meeting Ken?
He's meeting him at the library.
End of Lesson 9. Lesson 10. Bob's visiting Anne.
Bob is visiting Anne in her room. Listen to their conversation.
Hello, Bob. Please come in. It's very cold today, isn't it?
Yes, but it's nice and warm here. I like your room very much. Are those your pictures?
Yes. Do you like them?
Yes, they're very nice. What are you doing now?
I'm writing a letter to my parents.
Is it a long letter or a short one?
It's not very long. I'm finished now. Please sit down. Are your shoes wet?
No, they're dry. It isn't raining now.
Good. Do you want a cup of tea?
Yes, please. Do you have any cookies, too?
Yes. I keep the cookies in that box. Please have some.
Thank you. They're very good. You have a lot of books.
Yes. These are my sociology books, and those are novels.
What kind of novels do you like?
I usually read historical novels. I'm reading this one now. It's very interesting. Do you like music?
Yes, very much. Where do you keep your records?
I keep them in that cabinet. Let's listen to this one.
Is it classical music?
No, it isn't classical. It's folk music. Listen. Do you like it?
It's beautiful. It's a very cheerful song. I don't like sad songs, do you? Your stereo set is very good.
Do you have a stereo at home?
No, I don't have one. I have a cheap record player. A stereo is very expensive.
This one is a present from my father.
Does your father ever listen to music?
No, he isn't interested in music. He's usually very busy, and when he's free, he always plays golf.
Now, answer these questions. Is Bob visiting Anne?
Yes, he is.
Is it a nice day or a cold day?
It's a cold day.
Is Anne's room nice and warm?
Yes, it is.
Does Bob like it very much?
Yes, he does.
Does Anne have any pictures in her room?
Yes, she does.
They're nice, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Is Anne reading or writing a letter?
She's writing a letter.
Is it a long letter or a short letter?
It's a short letter.
Is she writing to her parents or her friends?
She's writing to her parents.
Are Bob's shoes wet or dry?
They're dry.
How is the weather?
It's cold and rainy.
What does Bob like very much?
He likes her room very much.
What is Anne writing?
She's writing a letter.
Who is she writing to?
She's writing to her parents.
What is Bob drinking?
He's drinking a cup of tea.
What is he eating?
He's eating cookies.
Where does Anne keep the cookies?
She keeps them in a box.
What kind of books does Anne keep in her bookcase?
She keeps sociology books and novels.
Where does Anne keep her records?
She keeps them in a cabinet.
What kind of music are they listening to?
They are listening to folk music.
Who is the stereo a present from?
It's a present from her father.
End of Lesson 10. Test after Lesson 10. Short answers to questions. You will hear a question followed by 4 responses. Mark the letter of the most suitable response. Listen to an example.
What do you do? A.
Nice to meet you.
B.
Fine, thank you.
C.
I work for a bank.
D.
How do you do?
In this case, the most suitable response to the question,
What do you do?
is letter C.
I work for a bank.
Therefore, you would mark letter C. Now let's begin.
Number 1.
Are you busy? A.
Yes, he is.
B.
Yes, she is.
C.
No, I'm not.
D.
No, I'm busy. Number 2.
What sort of things do you like? A.
I like kind people.
B.
I like reading and tennis.
C.
I don't like them.
D.
Yes, I like them. Number 3.
Are you a tourist? A.
Yes, I am.
B.
Yes, I'm here on business.
C.
Yes, I do.
D.
Yes, I like it. Number 4.
Are these dictionaries? A.
Yes, there are.
B.
Yes, they are.
C.
Yes, I use a dictionary.
D.
No, I don't use a dictionary. Number 5.
Is it cold today? A.
Yes, it's warm.
B.
Yes, it's cool.
C.
Yes, I am.
D.
Yes, it is. Number 6.
May I ask your name? A.
Yes, here you are.
B.
No, thank you.
C.
I'm Kenji Matsuo.
D.
What's your name? Number 7. Does that girl work for a bank? A.
Yes, she lives near here.
B.
Yes, she does.
C.
No, she doesn't teach French.
D.
No, she likes golf and tennis.
Number 8. Does that student use a tape recorder? A.
Yes, he has one.
B.
Yes, he often uses a tape recorder.
C.
No, he never misses class.
D.
Yes, he's a good student.
Number 9.
How old is your brother? A.
He's an old man.
B.
He's a mechanic.
C.
He's really sick.
D.
He's 13 years old. Number 10.
Is he in the hospital? A.
Yes, he's healthy.
B.
No, he isn't healthy.
C.
Yes, he's sick.
D.
No, he's sick.
End of test after Lesson 10. End of Side B.